Hello everyone, it's me ShortNature here, back with a brand new video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about artifacts. Artifacts are making a big return back to Destiny 2. If you guys do not remember, artifacts was introduced to us in the Rise of Iron in Destiny 1 days. If you guys do remember, those artifacts were a big key part throughout your Destiny gameplay, along with strikes, Crucible, most definitely the Crucible, and of course raids. I was really surprised that they did not came back for Destiny 2. I did not know why they didn't return them back in Destiny 2. But like I tell everybody in every video, I'm kind of glad that, you know, Bungie move away from Activision. They have their control of their game so they can put whatever they want in their games to make their games better, because I feel like Activision was pushing back Destiny, not moving it forward. So this article was stating something that was really interesting, that really caught my eye when I was reading this article. It says Destiny 2 Shadowkeep artifacts will introduce a new flavor to each season. So what I'm trying to say is, or maybe what I think they're saying is that they're going to be having new artifacts for each season, which is going to be really interesting. So Bungie, Marks, and Luke Smith explained the purpose of the returning gear slot and what the future is going to be hold for this artifacts and for the future of Destiny. So a month long, Mark and of course Luke are going to have some interviews throughout the process of this month, and it's going to be really interesting. There is a full-length interview, but of course Polygon and other gaming websites are going to break those interviews down to this article for this week or this article for this day. So they did a full-length interview, and people are just wondering, where are you going to just release the full interview? But of course they said, no, we're going to, like, you know, do here, and then we release the full interview for you guys, probably like later in September, early September, late August. So this article for this week or this day is talking about artifacts. Artifacts was a key introduction to the Rise of Iron, like I said, for, you know, your favorite activities that you like to do, especially when you have an artifact that is really interesting for you for the Crucible. That was always a key part for a lot of people, and a lot of people like that. If you had an artifact that kind of helped you out through the Crucible, that was a good thing. So they did not brought back, like I said, they didn't bring back artifacts in Destiny 2, which is kind of interesting to me, because like I said, you know, that significant change coming into the game really kind of expand Destiny to where it is. Like, wow, this is really cool, this really help you out. So there was so many different slots that kind of help you out through those perks and help you out through those activities, and not having it back in Destiny 2 was kind of interesting to me on a developer standpoint, because actually people actually like those, and artifacts aided Guardians by giving them additional perks and power slots. So that was a good thing. So if you wanted to get to 400 like really quickly, or something to a power level really quickly, artifacts was a key thing that really helped you out with, of course, your power level. Same thing that goes with the Ghost. Ghost actually helped you out with your power level too, or make you close to that power level compared to what it is now, which is kind of like daunting, because you want this and then you get this slot, and then you get this slot. So artifacts and of course your Ghost did really help you out when it comes to your power level. I'm surprised the Ghost don't really help you out in perks too, but never know what the future holds with the Ghost too. The Ghost does help you out to find, of course, planetary items and elements throughout the planets, but at the same time I was wondering if they're going to put like perks of, like, you know, Ghost maybe help you out in the Gambit or something like that. So like I said, future holds. But artifact system was a really good thing that was really introduced to us in the Rise of Iron, and it, like I said, it brought significant changes to the game, and it was kind of sad to see it go, but now I'm kind of happy that it's returning. So it says, starting with Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, continuing throughout the years, players will earn a new artifact to help them along their journey. Paul Long sat down with the general manager Mark Norsworthy and the franchise director Luke Smith to discuss how the artifact system has changed and what it means for Destiny 2. And this is a quote from Luke Smith. The artifact is one part of our philosophy, and we want to make sure that in Destiny 2 is going forward. Our seasonal content feel that it got a sense of momentum. And yes, the seasonal content has gotten a little bit better, and I feel like it's going to get better throughout the years now that Bungie is not with Activision, and they can do freely what they want with their game and do freely what they want with their development to make this game better. Each season, players will set aside their old artifacts and pick up new ones. For the game's fraction, it helped players feel like they're through line in Destiny experience. So each season we're going to have new artifacts that kind of help us out, meaning new artifact systems and new perks that will definitely help us out. Now they haven't stated anything about artifacts helping out with the power level, but the artifacts will help us with the perks, like I said, throughout these different activities that were introduced with the menagerie, a really good asset, the reckoning. And of course, Gambit and Gambit Prime is another thing where artifacts can make a really big difference to those key activities. And of course, like I always say, through Crucible, artifacts will really help you out when it comes to those type of activities. Now, there was an example of a seasonal artifact, and this one is called the Eye of the Great Lord, as you can see on your screen. If you guys do remember, that was from the video doc series Out of the Shadows, and that it kind of coordinates with the Vex. If you guys do remember, one of the missions we had to go and get the Eye of the Great Lord throughout the Black Garden and all that stuff. If you guys do remember that, that's how we met the Awoken, of course, the Queen and her punk ass brother Aldrin Self. So we had to get the Eye of the Gate Lord, and he thought that we weren't going to get the Eye of the Gate Lord, and eventually we got it anyways. Not to deviate from what I'm talking about in the video, players who fought in the Black Garden raid in Shadowkeep, some people think that this is maybe an artifact that you may get from, you know, defeating a boss or open up a chest in the Black Garden raid. If you guys do notice that we will have a Vex raid this time around. We did have a Vex raid, but not like how it was with, of course, the Vaults of Glass, that type of raid. But this one's gonna be different. This one's gonna be in the Black Garden. That is gonna be something really interesting kind of see, because a lot of people wanted to explore the Black Garden, and of course there's gonna be a lot of secrets in there. Well, it's possible that this artifact may be the final version of players will see on release. Then this should still expect a appropriate artifact base of the season it belongs to. So of course when you see Eye of the Gate Lord and you see the season is called what's it called? Season of the Undying. That's what it's called. And if you guys know what the Season of the Undying, if you guys remember that Shrike from Destiny 1 called the Undying Mine, if I'm not mistaken, that was a really cool Shrike. So of course when you see Undying, that means the Vex basically, because they're never undying at this point. And then they move on to talk about what this may affect and how the artifacts may come to effect. If you guys do remember, the Armor 2.0 system is having its own little system, kind of have an updating, because a lot of people felt like the armor in Destiny 2 hasn't really, how do I put this? The armor is there, but you feel like the armor is not really helpful for you throughout the playlist. Yes, maybe exotics and maybe there's like a couple of armors that may help you, but the modding system needs to be twerked. It needs to be helpful for you to do these daily activities that we're doing all the time, especially the raid and the Crucible. And this is what they had to say. We kind of have an overall vision for what we're trying to do with Destiny RPG game, which is really able and empower building crafts, said Smith. Their artifact is one of the tools that we're experimenting with alongside with the Armor 2.0 system, which is modding your character and modding in some cases your abilities to become more powerful. So when players hear that in the 2.0 system bringing back stats to Destiny 2, that should be really interesting. That was another article that I want to discuss in another video about how the Armor 2.0 system is going to be working for Destiny 2, because like I stated, like, yes, the armor is there. Yes, there might be some couple of armors that may help you with, like, if you're using a bow or a pulse rifle or a hand cannon or hand cannon scavenger or something like that. Yes, it may help you in that asset, maybe help you benefit your weapons to become powerful, but as a player, does the armor that you're using make your power a little bit more powerful? Does it, you know, give your super regen a little bit more quicker? Yes, there are exotics that you have to use, but 99% of the time you can't use that exotic armor all the time. Most cases you have to use your legendary armor, and I always feel like the legendary armors are never powerful in most cases, and then you have to use an exotic armor that will help you get this and get this done. So they are making some changes with the 2.0 system, with this armor system, and of course with the armor ornaments coming in there. They're doing so much things to this game, because if you're going to make an RPG game, everything needs to be updated, everything needs to be fixed. And so that's a key thing that, Bungie is doing with this update, and of course with the future of Destiny. If you're going to make this a free-to-play game, and you're going to make this an RPG game or MMO game, you need to have like some of the system that they have, and of course like Dauntless, and of course Monster Hunter World, and those type of games. You need to have like a modding system that will help those characters to become more powerful with the activities that you're introducing to us in every update. Like I stated, like Menagerie, the Raids, the Shrike, the Nightfall Shrike playlist, and all those different activities like Gambit and Gambit Prime. I always feel that the armor set is kind of useless for those activities. So hopefully that these changes that they're making, along with the artifact coming back from the Rise of Iron, it makes the gameplay a little bit better, a little bit like an RPG game. Now, they did state it in this article, Smith suggests that players will slot mods into their new artifact each season, some of which could be seriously impact the player's powers or ability. At the end of the season, players will replace their artifacts with something completely new, with new mods and new abilities. Bungie intends to use the artifacts to test new kinds of ability each season. Presumably, this allows the studio to experiment with more crafting builds for their players to test out without creating a problem to need to fix down the line. Since all the seasonal mods expire after 3 months, the problems of the power creep should solve themselves by the end of each season. So that is the thing that Bungie is trying to fix, is making sure that they don't have a nerf and a buff each month. Like they nerf down so much good exotic weapons and nerf down so much good armor that don't need to be nerfed, and they nerfed them to the ground where a point they can't even be used anymore. The Lord of Wolves shotgun was a really good weapon to use in PvP, not PvP but PvE, and they nerfed the hell out of that shotgun to the ground that it's just useless at this point. Like you could just dismantle it and don't even get it back anymore. They nerf things to the ground that don't really need to be nerfed. So hopefully with this whole new ability, and if this new thing with the artifacts and all this stuff, will fix those situations where they don't have to nerf everything to the ground. If you guys want to read the full interview and to read the full article, I will leave the source in the description down below so you guys can read through it. In the meantime, if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure that you leave a like and a comment down below what you guys think about the artifacts returning back from the Rise of Iron days. Do you think this will impact the game a little bit more, or this won't impact the game any further? Just let me know in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in my next post.